We can start. Good. A huge warm welcome to each and every one of you, whether you are here with us or joining us online. Hello to all. What an incredible moment is to kick off the Summit for the Future of Evaluation. My name is Khalil Bitar. I am the president of the International Organization for Cooperation in Evaluation, the co-chair of Eval Partners, and former chair of Eval Youth Global Network. Over these next 2 days, we're embarking on a landmark journey, truly. Together, we're charting a dynamic course for the entire field of evaluation. Our North Star, the powerful theme, Future-Ready Evaluation, integrating voices and localizing evaluation for global impact. Everybody has to memorize this. But drilling down, we're going to be shining a spotlight on two incredible important areas that have emerged right from the heart of the United Nations Pact for the future. One, the meaningful engagement of young people, which is really a focus of the Eval for Action campaign, and also the responsible use of artificial intelligence. Think about it. The potential of AI, coupled with the meaningful engagement and inclusion of young people and youth in general, whether in evaluation, outside evaluation, driving transformative evaluation. It's a potent combination. At the same time, the evaluation landscape, and we recognize that, is vast. We deeply recognize the crucial importance of so many areas in evaluation, inclusion of those often left behind, like indigenous people, people with disabilities, also tackling environmental crisis, humanitarian action, gender equity and equality, decolonizing evaluation, many of these themes that really came up already in these 2 days before. And this list is long and very important. These vital topics are absolutely part of the bigger picture. And they have been explored with the broader Evaluation Conclave, which the summit is also part of, over the past 2 days, setting the stage for our focused discussion here in the summit, and hopefully they will be explored in depth in forthcoming summits. While we look to the future, this summit is also a moment to pause and celebrate the wins along the way and some significant milestones. We are celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Eval for Action campaign, the 10th anniversary of the Eval Youth Global Network, as well as the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation. And it has been a decade since the International Year of Evaluation, 2015. That's a decade of dedication and action, paving the way for future we hope to shape together. The summit will include a pre-launch of the Global Evaluation Agenda, Eval Agenda, 10 years after the start of the last one, which we will also have it this evening as a side event. Ultimately, we hope this summit will spark innovation and deepen connections across our global networks and our network, as together we are one network, We want to ensure that evaluation remains, a lot of things we heard already in the conclave, vibrant, future fit, and catalyst for real transformative progress in our rapidly changing world, with a lot of positive points and also negative points, unfortunately. So once again, a massive welcome to this landmark gathering. Now let's get down to business. We have a packed agenda over 2 days with 6 plenary sessions. So always we'll be in plenary. We'll have 3 engagement sessions today and another 3 tomorrow. Today, our first session will delve into the impact of the United Nations Pact for Future, which is really a motivation and background for this event, the summit. The shifting geopolitical landscapes and financial gaps, a lot of discussed today and the past 2 days, and the crucial role of evaluation in fostering positive global shifts. Following that, we will celebrate excellence in youth engagement in evaluation at the 2025 Youth Evaluation Champions Award. This will be very exciting, and we'll see a lot of champions with us. And rounding all of that, our third and last session will explore the convergence of youth and AI, shaping the future of evaluation. Throughout the summit, we really want to hear from all of you, here in the room, but also our colleagues online. And for those joining us virtually, we're thrilled to have a parallel virtual theater. Maybe you show it in the screen, which is up and running now. You can see it on the screen right now. So this is a really cool tool where in this innovative space, you can move around as a 2D avatar, exploring virtual exhibits, participate in interactive games during the live sessions, and even join the Q&A. Definitely, we will make sure to have questions from the audience in the virtual conference during, and they can speak to each other and us. A huge thanks to Evaluate Global Network and UNFPA Independent Evaluation Office for bringing this cutting-edge experience to our summit. It's the first time I see it in an evaluation event, and I hope it will also be useful for other events to use as well. And for our wider online audience, all summit sessions are also being live streamed on the Eval for Action YouTube channel. A big hello to all of you tuning in online. So with this exciting lineup, let's dive straight into and kick off the first session of the summit. Setting the tone for the entire summit, the first session will delve into the profound implication of the United Nations Pact for Future, for the evaluation field especially. The Pact for Future is a landmark UN agreement adopted in September 2024, aiming to address global challenges and strengthen multilateralism. It outlines commitment across key areas like sustainable development, peace and security, technology, youth, and global governance. The Pact, alongside the Global Digital Compact and Declaration on Future Generations, seek to build a more inclusive, effective, and resilient international system for present and for future generations. And speaking of future generations, we're delighted to introduce to you 2 AI avatars, Alicia and Jimmy. They're very charismatic, who are young evaluators visiting us from the year 2035, 10 years from now. And they have a message for us from the future. Let's listen to them. Welcome, Alicia and Jimmy.
Hello, Welcome to the Summit for the Future of Evaluation. I'm Alisha, and I'm speaking to you from 2035. 10 years ago, you were just beginning this important discussion. It's amazing to see how far we've come, although there were many challenges on this road. Today, we are reflecting on the impact of the UN Pact for the Future and how it's reshaped our evaluation practices. As a young evaluator in 2035, I can tell you the changes have been profound.
Hi everyone, I'm Jimmy. From my perspective, the Pact for the Future really ignited a global movement. It emphasized the importance of youth engagement in evaluation, and that's been transformative. In 2035, we see young evaluators leading the way, using their unique perspectives and digital skills to drive change. We've also seen a strengthened focus in the way evaluation informs decision-making. The integration of AI, for instance, has revolutionized how we collect and analyze data. But with this power comes responsibility. Ethical AI practices must guide our work. We must constantly ask, how do we ensure fairness, transparency, and accountability in our AI-driven evaluations? It's a continuous learning process, and it all started with conversations just like the ones you're having today.
We are excited for you to explore the possibilities.
Let's work together to build a future where evaluation drives positive, sustainable change.
Welcome to the Summit for the Future of Evaluation.
Let's shape the future together.
Thank you very much, Alicia and Jimmy. Truly fascinating young AI avatars, already sparking our interest in the profound potential and implication of AI for future of evaluation. Setting the stage further for this session, session one, we now bring to you a message from the UNFPA Executive Director, Dr. Natalia Kanem, who unpacks the role of the Pact for Future and its implications for the future of evaluation.
Esteemed partners and colleagues, dear young people, I greet you in peace. Peace is the noble pursuit of the United Nations, and it's the fervent wish of the women and girls that UNFPA cares for all around the world. Welcome to the Summit for the Future of Evaluation. What an important event, what a timely event. It takes place at a critical juncture. Formidable challenges lie before us. I speak of intractable conflict. I speak of economic instability, more frequent climate disasters, and record levels of humanitarian need, all against the backdrop of declining donor funds. At the same time, inequalities and the rampant spread of misinformation and disinformation are leading to deep polarization, and that's eroding trust in institutions and, importantly, in data and in evidence. Yet, amid that magnetic pull, there are powerful counterforces at work. As development champions, our commitment to a sustainable future is unwavering. Our understanding of community needs is immense, and our intellectual heft is strong. It is ours to willingly defend science and willingly stand up for the truth. That must be steadfast, because the times that we're in call for alliances that transcend generations and geographic boundaries, and that will leverage our unique expertise. This is what you are bringing to the table as you gather this week to harness the power of evidence and innovation to push for that brighter future, with young people leading the way. The good news is that the emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence, present us with an opportunity that's going to generate evaluation evidence faster, more efficiently than ever before, and you will be needed to vouch for the accuracy of such information and to put it in context. The catch is that with the opportunity that new technology brings, there's also profound responsibility. It is imperative that AI would serve humanity in an ethical way, and that we use it as a tool for inclusive progress. Let us challenge our thinking on how we can integrate the perspectives of young people and also people who hail from the developing world. They will be the driving force in an evaluation revolution that's unleashed by artificial intelligence. And what do I think the synergy between AI and youth engagement will look like when we put it into actual practice? Well, as someone who has long declared my trust in the wisdom of young people, I would expect that this will be done in concert with the Global South so that we don't have that mismatch between potential and capacity when there is a digital divide. The answers to these questions are actually going to be determinative for the future of evaluation. As you deliberate the way forward for the evaluation discipline, use your total imagination. Please draw inspiration from the United Nations Summit of the Future and its conclusion. Convened by the United Nations Secretary General last year, the Summit of the Future addresses much of these emerging challenges. And the outcome, known as the Pact for the Future, is a roadmap. It's a roadmap that allows us to think in a future-oriented way, to be future-ready, to understand the importance of harnessing technology responsibly and ethically, and again, making space so young people are part of the decision-making at every level, in every country, and at the global level as well. One of my favorite sayings right now is this one: someone who does not look ahead remains behind. Looking ahead, looking around the corner, having that periscope that's trying to see what's on the horizon. Your summit is a timely platform for intergenerational dialogue. And with experienced evaluators working with newer evaluators side by side, you're going to be able to shape a profession that truly is future fit. We are in unpredictable times, and that may be an understatement, but what it does is it makes us more adept. It makes us more ready to pivot as required. And let's take some of the guesswork out of what lies ahead by embracing the data and knowledge that evaluators bring to the table, by embracing change and continuing to wield evaluation as an instrument for good governance and for accountability and for good planning. On behalf of all of us at UNFPA, I would like to thank our evaluation partners and our colleagues across the globe who are making to make this summit a success. I hope you have productive and inspiring meetings with many, many breakthrough moments. And when we listen and open our minds to discovery, when we focus on ideas that help people everywhere, then we can expand what's possible. We can use evaluation to shape a more just, a more healthy, and a more sustainable world. Thank you. Adelante.
With that profound message, let's hear from the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, Philippe Pollier.
Dear all, my name is Felipe Pollier and I serve as the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, leading the United Nations Youth Office, a recently established structure created by the General Assembly to advance youth affairs across the United Nations system and beyond. It is my honor to join you today at the Summit for the Future of Evaluation. I sincerely thank the organizers, particularly the UNFPA Independent Evaluation Office, Eval Youth Global Network, the Global Parliamentarians Forum for Evaluation, the Community of Evaluators of South Asia, an international organization for cooperation in evaluation, for the kind invitation to speak with you today. At a time when nearly half of the global population is under the age of 30, and when 9 out of 10 young people live in the global south, the urgency to invest in and to listen and partner with young people has never been greater. From the front lines of climate justice to social entrepreneurship and local peace building, young people are driving change across all areas of society. They are demanding and, most important, delivering solutions. They are reimagining leadership and shaping new narratives of solidarity, sustainability, and inclusion. To accelerate the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, we must nurture this youth-led power and ensure that young people in all of their diversity are able to meaningfully co-shape the decisions that affect their lives, their livelihoods, and their futures. In short, we need meaningful youth participation in policy making and decision making at every level. And that is why I am particularly encouraged to see meaningful youth engagement in evaluation as a centerpiece of this important summit, building on the commitments made in a Pact for the Future. Allow me to emphasize 3 key areas for action. First, we must ensure that a future-oriented approach to evaluation places young people at the heart of evidence and based decision-making. Young people must be meaningfully engaged throughout the evaluation process, not as beneficiaries, but as full-fledged partners and experts in their own right. Second, we must invest in young evaluators and support youth-led accountability and research initiatives. This includes strengthening their capacities and their skills, especially in emerging areas such as the evolving role of AI in evaluation. Third, we must ensure inclusive engagement mechanisms at global, regional, and national local levels. This must go hand in hand with strengthening youth participation in mandated SDG accountability process, including the development of voluntary national reviews. This summit provides a critical platform to catalyze action across these areas. So as you move forward, I encourage you to leverage Youth 2030, the United Nations system-wide youth strategy, which serves as a common framework for over 60 United Nations entities and 132 UN country teams that work with and for young people. It can be a valuable tool as we strive to accelerate the SDGs with and for young people. On behalf of the United Nations Youth Office, we stand ready to support your efforts. Thank you very much.
With these powerful opening remarks, we have laid the essential groundwork for the conversation to come. Now it is my pleasure to welcome to the stage Marco Sigoni, the Director of the UNFPA Independent Evaluation Office, Honorable Kabir Hashim, Chair of the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation, Dr. Rajib Nandi, Chairperson of the Community of Evaluators South Asia, and Anna Erika Larissa, Chair of Evaluate Global Network. Welcome. The modality of this session is that we really ask one question. Yes, it has 3 parts, but one question to all the panelists. So we hear from them their views about the Pact for Future and how it is related to evaluation. And we take a short time really for that, but then we really focus on also engaging the audience after. So you'll have plenty of time to ask for any questions online and here with us. Welcome again. So the United Nations Pact for Future calls for strengthening multilateralism and global cooperation. As the world experiencing historical geopolitical shifts and financial gaps, how do you see or foresee these 2 dynamics impacting the field of evaluation? So this is the first question. How the evaluation community should respond to them, and what role can evaluation play in supporting positive global shifts moving forward? You can take some part of the question, you can answer whatever you like, and whoever would like to start. Maybe we start from Marco there.
Thank you very much, Khalil, and good afternoon, everybody. Well, for those of you who knows me, I tend to be quite direct. And so I would like to start by saying that I feel we are really in a historical moment. I feel the world we have known so far is not there anymore. And there will be no way back to the old status quo. And it's neither positive or negative. It's just that we should be aware of it. And just to explain more in details, on the one side, we are seeing the rebalancing of global power dynamics from unilateral to multipolar world, mainly led by BRICS and Global South, but clearly with the power moving towards Asia. We see the polarization of societies, led by misinformation that is undermining democracy, the rule of law, and human rights. And all of this is powered by social media and new technology, including artificial intelligence. And that's why it's so important that we engage with artificial intelligence so that we can shape the artificial intelligence that should be at the service of the world that we want. And of course, the climate crisis and the continuous violation of basic humanitarian law with total impunity, as also mentioned by the UN Secretary General. But as the UNFPA Executive Director mentioned, our commitment to development must be unwavering. And actually, with any change comes also potential opportunities. The important is that we use those periscope that the Executive Director was mentioning, really to look ahead to see what's coming, actually what has already come, and to see how we should evolve, how we should be responsive. And just a few aspects. First is, we will see more politicization of evaluations. That means that we as evaluators, we should, on the one side, maintain strong independence, impartiality, and ethical rigor, including from governments and member states. It doesn't matter who the power is. We should be more and more politically savvy, and it's great to have here with us Honorable Kabir Hashim, a parliamentarian who, of course, is your butter, but is not as evaluators. But it's very important that we always keep in mind that evaluation is a technical exercise, yes, but within a political environment. And we must be fully aware of the political environment and the implication. And for that, we need also to become excellent communicators. Of course, we need to continue to be strong technically with rigorous methodologies, but that's not enough anymore, definitely. We need really to be communicators who are able to create relationships with all stakeholders, from the Prime Minister down to the community level, left behind population, and to build trust. The second is that evaluation approaches should be more context sensitive. So while remaining true to the universal values of human rights, social justice, and sustainable and inclusive development, we should really look and listen more and more those voices that are so important to understand the context, from the indigenous evaluations to youth engagement, inclusive and participatory approaches, and more support and work with national evaluation systems. So evaluation to be responsive to the significant fast-changing environment, it needs to constantly adapt to the new priorities and provide real-time evidence to inform real-time decision-making. The second constraint is about financial resources. There will be clearly increased pressure to demonstrate efficiency, effectiveness, and value for money of interventions. And this actually can be, potentially can fuel the demand for evaluation. But evaluation also will need to demonstrate its evolving value addition by being responsive and by being more cost-effective and efficient. We cannot continue to do evaluation as usual. We will have more and more to justify how we use our resources through innovations, through national resources and capacities, and by diversifying funding for sustainability of evaluation. So just to arrive to the last part of your question, the way forward. I think we really need to develop more specialized evaluation capacities in critical areas such as climate justice, humanitarian action, and social justice to address pressing global challenges in an effective manner. We need to continue to build robust national evaluation systems, leveraging local capacities, including indigenous youth and community capacities. Leverage innovations, including ethical AI. And to do all of that, we need to strengthen evaluation communication and advocacy for influential evaluation, with a focus really on intergenerational and multi-stakeholder partnership. We need to come all together because the challenge is really significant, but the potential opportunity is also significant. So it's only together that we will be able to leverage this opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you, Marco. Kapil?
Thank you. It's always easy to get the mic after Marco because he said most of what has to be said by the rest. Makes my job easier. Well, after listening to Natalia Kanem, the executive director of the UNFPA, she spoke about polarization, about conflict, about economic instability, everything which we see around us. It cannot be a more frightening time in the global sense than right now, and that's the reality. And also the declining donor funds. As a parliamentarian, as a politician, I can see that the political field is also changing, and if you're not willing to change along with it, then you get left back. You fall by the side, right? That's why lots of young governments are coming up, sometimes for the good, sometimes for not so good. So it's a dangerous time. And the UN Pact on Global Cooperation, Global Digital Compact is definitely something that's very important. It's for the good. But, you know, I'm being very open here. Like, we've had the SDGs, the MDGs. We haven't really even got close to the targets. So can we really work through just frameworks? And what's missing? And that's what I think you should really try to do at the end of this conference. You know, words are good, it inspires, but unless you put it into action, then we're not going to move forward. So the geopolitical shift and the financial gaps are so volatile that it's going to be very difficult, and I think that it will affect evaluation adversely, especially in the global south, for many reasons. And unless you prepare for it, then you're going to lose heavily. That's what I would say as a message. If you take it easy and say, you know, it'll be all right, no. So, because for one thing that I think if you take the global north and the global south, a lot of evaluation was being driven in the global south, mostly from the global north. Maybe there was very few country-driven evaluations till recently because we've been fighting for it. And our parliaments have not been institutionally strengthened in terms of evaluation, which we need to do. We have lots of gaps. We don't have the qualified professionals. We don't have the national evaluation policies. We don't have the implementation frameworks. So huge amount. Even if you have AI cannot be applied if you don't have the systems in place, right? So the basics need to be done, and that's what you need to address. And that I can see because I live a politician's life every day, and I can see, you can send any report, you can use AI, but nobody's going to understand a thing in Parliament because they don't know anything about it. Right? How do you get them to use it? Right? How do you measure impact if they don't know about it? So you need to get down to that. And so I think that this funding mechanism is going to drop. USAID used to play quite a heavy role here in supporting Parliament activities. USAID is not funding us anymore. There's going to be funding. So you have to find who's going to gap fund. From where do we get that fund now? How do we put up that money? Is it from the private sector? Is it from another global network? Because we need to really look at, the buzzword, decolonization of evaluation, making it more sensitive culturally, locally, community-wise. It has to be done. Then only people will take on to it. So these are important issues that come in my thinking. So I won't say anything more. I heard Marco saying about the way forward. In short, if I say the way forward, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Thank you.
Well said, as usual. Thank you so much. And Dr. Rajiv, also I think it would be really useful to hear from you about how the community of evaluators, not only here, but from your views, can really, okay, now we know there's a new situation, things are different. How can we deal with them?
Right. Thank you, Khalil, and thank you, Marco and Honorable Kabir Hashim. So when I came to know about this UN Pact for the Future and about the 2024 Summit for the Future, and I know when I met Marco last year in August in Shanghai during this Asia Evaluation Week, so he brought that idea like, let's align it with the UN Pact for the Future. I won't claim that I have gone through very carefully that UN Pact for the Future, but I have definitely browsed through it, and I tried to comprehend what the important aspects coming from that UN Pact and how it's relevant for us, the community of evaluators. I'm slightly hopeful before I start. Make my kind of 2-3 points. But definitely, I'm pretty much sure that that a lot of challenges are there lined up in future. Very recently, a couple of days back, I came to know that sudden surge of COVID cases again in my hometown Delhi. So you don't know. There's a lot of uncertainties, but still I'm hopeful. And if I look at the UN Pact for the Future, I just picked up these 3 aspects, and which I think it's aligned very well the way the community of evaluators are thinking. One is that the Pact very clearly mentions about the comprehensive agreement aiming to accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda and address the global challenges. So it's basically mentioning here. So from here, what I read here, that commitment to evidence-based policy making, I think Marco already mentioned in his speech, and accountability. So that this pact strongly underscores the role of data, evidence, and transparency in governance and global cooperation. So that's very, very clearly coming from the pact. That means it's reinforcing the future role of evaluation as a kind of like a cornerstone for informing the public policy and complex and uncertain situations, ensuring accountability in kind of a multilateral kind of processes, and definitely creating kind of mechanisms for measuring the progress on SDGs and beyond SDGs. So I see why I say that I'm still very positive. I see here the growing demand for robust national and global evaluation systems, which can actually inform, assess, and adapt policies using credible evidence across states. The second very important aspect which I observed there in the UN Pact is the strengthening global and national capacities. Means we have we require capacity development for inclusive and resilient governance, and definitely which is very, very true also definitely for the global south. So this opens avenues for investing more in the evaluation capacity development at systemic level, at institutional level, and at individual level. Also, a good opportunity to localize evaluation efforts. So, in my mind, I see this as in future, if you look at evaluation from a futuristic perspective or from future, I see evaluation is not going to remain just as a tool for assessment. It is a strategic enabler for learning and adaptive capacity. And the third aspect, which I think is again very, very important, is that Pact it clearly mentions about is the foresight, innovation, and international justice. And so it integrates this forward-looking vision, this committing for intergenerational equality, anticipatory governance, and transformative innovation. So it aligns directly the kind of thing we have been telling, this new eval paradigms, the new approaches, the transformative evaluation, evaluating for the longer-term impacts, be prepared to evaluate the unintended consequences, and definitely, finally, the placing youth, future generation, and marginalized communities in the center of both policy and evaluation, not only just as users, but as leaders and practitioners. I would like to stop here.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. That's a lot, and it's good that you have some optimism there and way forward for the evaluation. And the Pact for Future has really the focus on youth and AI very strongly. So it would be great to hear from you, Erica, your reflection on these questions as well, how the evaluation can leverage the Pact for Future.
I'm just thinking, to be honest, I don't know what else I can say that these three gentlemen have already said. But I'm just gonna return to the original question first, because I just wanted to express that, when outside of this space, with the public sector or the people, right? When we're they don't generally, they're not aware of these things, the geopolitical shifts, the financial crisis, because it impacts them on a different way. It means no food on the table, losing their house or their jobs, or sometimes for others, it's a life-threatening situation. And so in such cases, for majority of people, definitely evaluation is not going to be at the forefront of their thoughts when it hits them hard. So for us, for the evaluation community, this is not our first tango. At least in my years of experience as an evaluator or years of my exposure here in the evaluation community, we've had this financial crisis. Prior to that, we have COVID-19. And many more changes are happening as we keep going through the years. And it seems like every corner that we make a turn to, there's another crisis. So it's not any different from what they have already said, where we have to create systems. But I think this system needs to be reliable and resilient to this crisis. Because when it hits us, the biggest demand from the evaluation community definitely is what is the evidence? What is the data on the spot? And sometimes you don't have the time to react anymore. So the best thing you can do is more of a preventative action in developing the systems. And we are in a situation already where we're aware of all of the issues that we could possibly face, whether it's on gender, whether it comes to age, intergenerationality, inclusion, and the climate, and the vulnerable people, and the indigenous people, so on and so forth. We, to a certain degree, every one of us have that kind of expertise. And the call, essentially, I think, is to just interconnect more with one another and work together. And from my perspective, there is this still some sense of silo when it comes to this kind of conversations. Here and there, of course, like, I'm not saying this in a general manner, but like here and there, definitely some people are making some chips and dents with regards to these silos. But, definitely with all of us here and the evaluation community as a whole, with the strides that we are making in different areas, in different sectors, I do think that we have the capacity to create these kinds of systems that can be resilient and more of a preventative rather than just responsive when you're already faced with a crisis right at your front door. So that one, and then, what's your question?
What role can evaluation play in supporting positive global shifts moving forward?
Yes, I mean, like, yeah, I think it's not any different from what I was saying. It's just that we have to be, we as evaluation community, I feel like we are at the frontliners when it comes to providing the data. Because those data, those evidence is what allows the responders, for example, in helping the people on the ground. So it's just aligned to what everyone has saying.
Thank you so much. That's great. And we will have a small exercise to see also your view about the future of evaluation, given the insight we heard. But Marco, I just wanted to ask, for some colleagues who are in the audience and maybe not familiar with the United Nations Pact for Future, especially that the SDGs were mentioned as well, how does it intersect with the SDGs from your knowledge? Because we have the SDGs until 2030 are the goals. Why did we need the Pact for Future? Is it different? Because I'm sure some of people in the audience may also have these questions.
Yeah, I think they complement each other. I mean, the SDGs is really, the Sustainable Development Goals. So that's are the objectives, where we want to arrive. The Pact for the Future is more on the how, on the strategy. It's more about saying that, we will be able to achieve the SDGs only through multilateralism, only through human rights. So it's really about the strategy on how to achieve the SDGs. Now, that probably was in 2024, just last year. So we're not talking about 10 years ago, we're talking about 12 months ago. But in the last 12 months, or perhaps in the last 6 months, the world has changed completely. It's only a minority of SDGs that is likely that will be achieved. The big majority is unlikely. So that's why we really need to leverage the Pact for the Future to think how we can achieve those SDGs now that everything has changed. And that's where evaluation can really also be an important force.
Because such event, for example, the summit, is very important also to bring awareness about the Pact, for example, and other initiatives globally. Otherwise, sometimes maybe some evaluators who are not directly working on this will not hear about it. But I also wonder, Honorable Kabir, for the Parliament, for example, maybe Sri Lanka has already signed the Pact for the Future. Was the Pact, for example, presented to the Parliament? Do you talk about it when you talk to people, when you go and speak to the 4,000 people you mentioned? Is it really something that is discussed or not so much?
Good question. You're embarrassing me by asking that.
No, I don't mean to.
Yeah, because it never came up in Parliament. And I don't think most of our colleagues are even aware of it. And we are actually grappling with trying to get the SDGs to become a part of parliamentary process. Yeah. We've been agitating to have a parliamentary committee permanently to be involved with the SDGs, because right now it's more executive driven. It's not driven by Parliament. So those are the practical issues. I guess it's not only in my country, it's across the globe. Lots of parliaments have this problem. That needs to be resolved.
Yes. Erica, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think I just want to add to something Honorable Kabir Hashim has said. Like, even because like I'm currently on the educational sector right now on Catholic higher education institutions, and it was kind of surprising to hear that even the faculties are not aware of the SDGs. So, and these are higher educational institutions, and we're more than halfway through the SDGs. So I wouldn't expect that they would know about the pact even. And I think that's what I would say, that sometimes it's only us that's aware of these global shifts and at the ground.
But also about its outputs and outcomes. For example, about if people not necessarily have to read the document, but if they see that there are changes on government and global, and the pact is also about global governance. So maybe, yes, a small number of people collaborating between countries, but people will see it tangibly when it comes to AI governance. And right now it's in development, or youth and how much they're involved. So it would be very interesting to see that. And Dr. Rajib, just last question for you as well. And going forward, how can you really raise awareness about something like the Pact for Future and other things among the community of evaluators South Asia? Do you have, for example, events to talk about such pacts and agreements and how they involve evaluators or not? Or you plan to do so?
Thanks, Khalil. I mean, I think this is the first event. I think entire world. I don't know if anywhere so far any event on on this future UN Pact for Future has been discussed or not. How it aligned with the evaluation, that I don't know, but people definitely might have been talking about it. But one thing I can tell you, for some time now, the evaluators also, or the think tanks of evaluators started talking about transformation and transformative evaluations, which, so when I when I saw the UN Pact, I found that there is certain kind of alignment already there. So it's not something which I don't understand. When UN Pact is totally a different kind of document. Okay, it's not only for the evaluators. It's primarily for the policy makers, for the implementers, for the people who are designing programs and policies. But from evaluators' perspective, when I looked at it, I didn't have any problem to understand what this document is saying. But I think it's a good question, and definitely we need to talk more about future to be prepared for future. And also what we see this artificial intelligence, the technology, and without knowing much, many of us are jumping into it, using it without knowing consequences of that. But and also people also started talking that that AI will take away your kind of your job, your intelligence, everything. But it is not about that. But it is basically the future is in our hand. Even the technology is in our hand. We have to shape it, and that's the right time to start thinking how we can shape technology and how we can shape our future.
Thank you. I love the optimism. I think that's great. And the panelists, thank you so much, but we will keep you here with us because we will have questions from the audience. But first, we thought of perhaps asking you to complete a very easy sentence, very straightforward. 10 years from now, I would like evaluation to be, and please use the QR code and tell us 10 years from now, I would like the evaluation to be. And then we will see a word cloud with answers. And don't forget, please, our colleagues online, on the virtual theater as well. It's okay for you to see the QR code if you like as well. Okay.
targeted at least, redundant, useful, important, cool, truly intersectional. Innovation is a big thing. Inclusivity is very, very important as well. I see useful, truly local, that's really important.
Innovative.
Normalized, yes. Hybrid and strategic, or hybrid strategic together. Adding real value, so again about the usefulness and utilization. Empowering, oriented. But innovation and exclusiveness, oh, that's interesting because the summit theme is about youth and AI as well. More empathetic, transformative and useful as well. They're coming very strongly. And I hope also the virtual theater colleagues are contributing. So this is really from so many of you. Okay. I think that's good. You keep writing if you like, but we see the innovation is very strong, coming along as well, inclusive, transformative, useful, and more empathetic. I like that this is also becoming very strong. I think we've seen in different events long time ago, things like that, and empathy doesn't come so much. Rigorous evaluation used to come a lot. I don't see anything about rigor so much. That's good. Although we need to be rigor, but not the focus completely on rigor and then forget empathy. Okay, so now we have about 15, 20 minutes we can take, depends on your questions, to ask our panelists. And already we have one hand there.
This is really wonderful. As you're saying that, after the Summit of the Future and the Pact of the Future, we're talking about evaluations. And while you were talking, I was just actually glancing through the Pact as well. It seems to be really kind of comprehensive. And but I want to also, it does at some point, kind of talk about that we need to continue to build on what we have been saying. And I think gender and human rights do figure at that level. So I just wanted to kind of understand that when we are talking about evaluation, how do we place human rights and evaluation, human rights and gender equity as we are talking about it? How do we expect to continue to be inclusive about all the issues that we have been raising? And when we are talking with youth, with AI, with innovations, what strategies are required to continue to build on many of the unfinished businesses, even as we are adding new agenda? Because it is really important to continue to remain inclusive. Thank you.
Okay, maybe we can take this question first. It's a really important question.
2 or 3?
Oh, maybe. Okay, we take, you prefer? Okay. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you very much for this panel and congratulations to the organizers. I think it's really exciting and we are discussing things that I think should be discussed in different fora. Sorry? Louder? Okay. Congratulations to the organizers and the panelists for such a relevant and important discussion. What I would like clarification on, or further elaboration on, is that it keeps, probably I misunderstood many discussions, but it seems to me, even when I read some important documents, that what we need is important data, rigorous data, credible data for decision making. So the question I have, especially for Kabir, but not only, is can we really naively think that stronger data will lead to better decision making? To me, decisions take place in highly political environments. So therefore, our data can be as credible as possible, as rigorous as possible, and we cannot think that this mechanically lead to decision making. So that is something we have to think about, we have to discuss about, and this it goes from reviewing competencies for evaluators to be politically savvy, to engage in political dialogues, to our approaches to capacity building, to our approaches to stakeholders, probably need more stakeholders, and we also need probably some new voices, even if they ask us uncomfortable questions and we have to face them. Thank you.
Thank you, Eda. Okay, we take one more question. Yes, please.
My question is sort of related but slightly different, and it's to Mr. Kabir. I think Sri Lanka has a role to play as a global player, definitely. And you have spoken about your commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals. In that whole, global milieu, how are you striking a balance between two things? One is the fact that there is a challenge financially. Cost effectiveness is something which, how do you look at that? And the second is, how do you take care of hyper-localization and decolonization in that whole scenario?
Thank you.
Let me take the two questions kind of which was related to me. One was from Ada about data. Yeah, data is definitely one of the key things, right? But sometimes data can be like garbage. It can be unrefined and you won't know what to do with data. In Sri Lanka, in our context, I think that data is accessible. Sufficiently, there is data. We have a good statistical department. Data can be accessed. But that alone has not been the obstacle. Data has been available, but evaluations have not been spurred on by the need for them. So even if you have data, most of the time, the data is not used or not usable. And the other thing is that data is not, for most policymakers, the data is not available in the format that they would like to have it, because data is so scrambled sometimes that you can't make intelligent use of them. So data to be refined, that is why we've been talking about having monitoring and evaluation unit in Parliament so that data can be refined and given over to policymakers as their requirements are. So it's not just raw data that's the problem, but data that is usable by people. And I think that as much as data is an essential component, because without proper data, then you can have, your evaluations cannot mean anything. But that alone will not drive home the issue. There are other things about people getting used to the culture of evaluation and having champions who use evaluation in their countries. So coming back to the other question about the challenges of localization of evaluations, what I think when we had a conference about a year ago, when our Prime Minister was the chief guest at that time, I actually made an appeal that one of the requirements is, like, Sri Lanka's gone a long way ahead, thanks to Dr. Asela Kalugampitiya and team. Capacity building is, like, at a good point, a good level, where we have university degrees, we have diplomas being, and training going on for young evaluators. So the possibility of professionalizing is there. But the issue is that there is the planning department is the public administration structure uses the planning department for handling evaluation from the national to the subnational level. But none of the planning officers, if you check now, would have any training in evaluation. And they are not capable of doing an evaluation report or to give up. Like Ada asked about data, they may have the data, but they may not be able to read the data and translate it into the necessary language. So that's why I made the request that the government makes it a prerequisite that for the planning department that a prerequisite qualification will be evaluation, that you have to be an evaluator to be in the planning department. So that becomes a part of the government cadre. There is always when they recruit people, there is a cadre requirement, and if they recruit 15,000 people into a department that they would have a certain percentage who would be qualified in evaluation. Then you have evaluators, then you can localize it because you have qualified people to handle evaluations. Or what will eventually happen is it has to be driven either by the donor or by some other organization outside. It never becomes, locally owned. And as the financial issues are, but I think that with what has happened in the world over, if you go to keep depending on donor financing for everything, it's not going to happen. Right? You would get some support. Definitely there would be a new order somewhere down the line. Somebody will fill this gap to an extent. But that's why we've been also agitating that there should be a national evaluation policy within a country purely for the purpose of making it mandatory in that country so that the government will allocate a budget every year for evaluation so that the money will come from within. Government wastes a lot of money, for fancy projects all over. So putting aside some money for evaluation is not difficult. But then you need to have that's why the policy and then the framework.
Thank you, Honorable Kabir. Anyone else would like? Yeah.
No, just quickly on the first two questions. So on the first one, absolutely. I mean, human rights and gender equality must remain the center, the central guidance or North Star for evaluation. Otherwise, we will come up with an evaluation that is relevant only for the powerful and is not relevant for everybody. And that's exactly what we don't want. And that's why I was saying in my first round, that it's very important that we stay true to the global United Nations principles of human rights and gender equality. So absolutely. On the second question, to me the quality of evidence, is necessary, but is not sufficient for sure. And I really liked from everybody, and it is the first time that actually I saw, and that made me thinking, more empathetic, the future evaluation more empathetic. And that's really something that a lamp that switch on. Because in reality, at the end of the day, who do we believe? When we are in our nice social media, there will be a post that will say A, and another post that will say the opposite of A. And in reality, we believe that post where we trust the person who sent the post. Now, I'm not saying that that's how it should be, etc. What I'm saying is that we as evaluators, we should definitely continue to ensure good quality evidence, but we should also become much better in creating trust, because people believe only those that they trust. If they do not trust evaluators, then we're out of business. Regardless if we have the most scientific, rigorous data, it will be not useful. So that's why I was saying the importance of focusing on creating human relationships, trust, and from now on, I will add empathetic evaluations.
Very good one.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you would like to have,
just in one sentence, because Janvi raised this question. I mean, I totally understand your concern. Yes. When we talk about equity and talk about inclusivity, and if we don't mention separately the gender also, sometimes this issue gets diluted. I totally agree with you. And because I think definitely we have to spell it out very clearly, actually, what we mean by equity and what we mean by inclusivity. Having said that, let me just give a very quick example. When we were looking for proposals for the conclave this time, the maximum number of proposals came under the sub-theme equity and equality, and most of the proposals primarily on gender and gender equity. Now, what could be two reasons perhaps behind that. One, this is an opportunity for the people who are advocating gender equality, are much more visible and prominent and want to use this kind of platform to flag their issues. Or maybe, there are kind of lot of organizations, mainstream organizations, people who are just evaluators may not term them as gender feminist evaluator, gender transformative evaluator, also much more concerned now to bring these kind of issues. So yeah, thank you.
Hello. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Just an additional point as well to the first question, and I think it's quite, because we've had this conversation as well outside. It's from a perspective of youth and with my colleagues at Eval Youth, with how we deal things. For us, like, human rights and gender is something that we are doing quite naturally, and it was something implicit. And I think it's because in Eval Youth and with us, with the trainings that we got and the enabling environment and the mentorship that we got, this is something that's been taught to us as if it's natural part of the evaluation process. So that's why perhaps on our spaces for young people, it's not explicitly stated, because in our head, this is implicit, this is natural, this is common sense. So I just, perhaps like that it is what Sir Rajiv has said, it is much more, there's just a need to be much more explicit about it. But I just want to express that in the spaces that has been invested on to young people, those principles have been hammered into our heads as a natural thing to do. So I hope that at least gives some optimism with regards to this, as if that it's slipping out of the discussion. It's not. It's just that it's a natural already in our heads to be included naturally. So, thank you.
Thank you.
That a young emerging evaluator.
Yes, very important point. And this is something I remember from the early days of Value. One of the, yes, now we'll get the question, but very quickly, we have one of the things that really energized young and emerging evaluators was not only about building their capacities. In the beginning, yes, it was about, Evaluate is about building capacities for evaluators. But quickly it was about advocating for justice, equity, environmental justice that actually sustained them. Otherwise, they would have stayed. And we can see this change. But we are also very excited because we have questions from the virtual theater as well. Now we hear it.
So, hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, thank you. So, hi, everyone. We were talking a lot about, youth and evaluation and AI and everything. And I wanted to ask that as we're navigating like this new era that is full of technology and full of innovation and technological change, one of like the most pressing challenges that we're facing as youth is the impact of artificial intelligence, not only on like youth mental health or whatever in society, but more in the realms of employment and education and mobility. Artificial intelligence is not only like transforming how we work and learn, etc., but it is also reshaping like what opportunities that are available to us and how in often ways those are like can lead to very much like global inequalities. In like many parts of the world, some people, young people, are at risk of being left behind because of, they're unable to access to these innovative technologies. Their education systems can't keep up with like the pace of digital transformation, etc. So, and because of all of those things, local economies, start to lack innovation infrastructure to benefit from this AI-driven growth and all that. And in this sector, in this thing, I would like to ask, how can we proactively evaluate and respond to these changes and not just, only react to them? How can, like, what kind of policies and partnerships are needed and are like essential to ensure that AI becomes not only like a replacement, cheap labor, not that, but can become like a force of empowerment and youth inclusion in today's society? How can we, bridge gaps without like widening them? That is my question.
For the question, that's a great question. And this would be our last question because we have to really move to the second session. So we'll see from our panelists who like to answer.
Okay. I'm going to answer that I'm just gonna say I'm really happy that like the virtual theater is at least working. It's because the virtual theater is actually one good example, I suppose, with all of these changes. Because I know when this summit was planning and when I first entered in the term, I know I was in the middle of the planning of this summit and I just went. We can't have a hybrid event and not just have it like one. We can't have a hybrid event and just have it like, you know, just the participants online just be there on the chat and have very limited interaction when we already have the technology to enable a more organic conversations in between them on the hybrid, on the online space, and also be able to host this kind of online and physical interaction. And like, you know, like right now, we are able to make this possible, and like this technology, this is not expensive. This technology is less than the cost it would send someone to here. And this technology, for that cost, it can host 100 participants the same way that we are experiencing that right now. So, you know, with all of these changes with AI and the technology, we can, like, you know, counteract this fast pace through just like working together. And that is why I'm also promoting the youth inclusion in these spaces, is because it's also, again, as I mentioned in my inaugural speech, it's the young people that's most fluent with these changes. It's the young people that has the time to go through these technologies, play with them, and understand what they're doing, even if it's not for their job, just to play with them, right? So that's why, like, that's the biggest strength of the youth, and that's how we can have youth inclusion.
Thank you so much. We are 1 minute late. According to Acella, so we go to Marco.
Okay, so super quickly. Absolutely, I mean, AI is going to reshape opportunities, and I think it's very important that we are aware of it, and we already rethink our own profiles. So for young people, you know, more and more we are looking less for data analysts, but we are looking more for data analysts who master AI. So for data analysts who know how to oversight and use AI in an ethical manner. So you should also think about reprofiling yourself. And absolutely, we should not be reactive. For example, in FPA, that's why we came up with a strategy on how leverage AI in an ethical and responsible manner. So it's something that we should prepare in advance and not be reactive, absolutely.
Thank you so much. And I will not really attempt to, with the time limit, summarize. I think this should be open discussion. Our speakers have shared a lot with us, a lot of wisdom, and also you shared your views. And I think there are a lot of challenges, but also opportunities, as we heard very well. And so evidence is not enough. Empathy and trust is important. And let's continue this conversation as we continue. But for now, let's please give our speakers another warm thank you for the great sharing. Thank you. No, it's good. Can you hear me? Oh, yes. And now we move to a truly inspiring part of our summit. Up next, we have the 2025 Youth in Evaluation Champions Award. This is the second year of this prestigious awards, presented by the Dynamic Eval Youth Global Network. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome to the stage, they're behind me actually, the moderators who will guide us through the session, the vice chairs of Eval Youth Global Network, Leah Corstelli and Baraka Mfalenge. Welcome to the stage.
I hope you can all hear me. So thank you, Khalil, and greetings everyone, including our colleagues joining us online. My name is Leah Corstelli, and together with my colleague Baraka, we are delighted to welcome everyone to the 2025 Youth in Evaluation Champions Award.
Yeah, today we are excited to celebrate organizations that have demonstrated exceptional commitment and made strides in advancing youth in evaluation. We will be handling the 2025 award winners who stands out in the sectors and motivating others to make meaningful action to include youth in evaluation.
So for those joining us for the first time, these awards have been building on the growing momentum for youth inclusion and evaluation. A major milestone in this journey was the launch of the Youth and Evaluation Standards in 2023 during the inaugural Youth and Evaluation Week. Given the unique context of stakeholders, specific standards were developed for 6 stakeholder groups, namely academia, governments, international organizations, the private sectors, VOPs and youth chapters, as well as youth organizations. These standards were co-created by international and intergenerational stakeholder task forces representing each group.
Thank you, Le. The initiative to develop intergenerational partnership in evaluation, following the vision of 2024 UN Summit of the Future, engaged our global evaluation community to expand dialogue on transformation evaluation practice. Today, ceremony recognizes champions across all 6 stakeholders groups. We recognize 4 levels of achievement, which includes emerging champions, champions, super champions, and legacy champions. These distinctions harness the depth and diversity on evaluation efforts and meaningful engagement of youth in evaluation.
We have to say that the selection process this year was really not easy, as Eval Youth undertook the momentous challenge of reviewing 56 self-assessments submitted by organizations from across the world. Through this process, we actually discovered a lot of inspiring and meaningful ways that organizations have been promoting youth in evaluation. And for this reason, we are extending a heartfelt thank you to everyone who completed a self-assessment. Your valuable contributions were actually really essential to this comprehensive review. Please go ahead.
And now let us take the moment that we have been all waiting for. It is our great honor and officially to kick off the 2024 Youth in Evaluation Champions Award. For our first category of this evening, we are incredibly excited to welcome our inaugural class of Legacy Champions. These are dedicated organizations that have demonstrated consistent top-tier performance over the years, truly embodying long-term commitment and growth. Kicking off of these distinguished groups, we are thrilled kindly to start by recognizing UNFPA Independent Evaluation. Please join us, Malco Sogno, in the stage to receive your award.
This award, and it's really on behalf of the entire Evaluation Office. That's why I asked Nea and Azela also to join here. And unfortunately, if you join, then probably the virtual theater, etc., is going to not to work anymore, etc. But it's like if you were here with us. It's really a big honor for the entire organization, and you know, to us, it's so central that we have integrated the principle of the meaningful engagement of young evaluators in evaluation in our own evaluation policy. And that's how we have sustained this. So thank you very much, big honor, and we will obviously continue to remain committed to this. Thanks.
Please, applause. Thank you. The second organization that we would like to recognize tonight is ASEAN Pacific Evaluation Association. Yoko Ishinda, the president, please welcome on the stage.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are very honored to accept this Legacy Champion Award. So last year, we are humbled to receive the Super Champion. And then this year's recognition is like more deepen our recognition, commitment. Thank you. We have to go. So we are proud of it, and at the same time, I'm sure that we have to commit ourselves again, and we will promise that our continued efforts to work with the young evaluators and everyone. I mean, not only young evaluators, but also others in between. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our next award goes to CMS India. These are attending online, and if they are there present, we would like to allow them to make some remark. Okay. Thank you. If they are not there, let us proceed. The next award goes to Mongolian. Oh, please, let us allow them. You are welcome. You can talk, please. You are muted.
So yeah, good afternoon and namaskar from India. CMS is really humbled to receive this Legacy Champion Award for promoting young evaluators. And as last year's Super Champions, we are really honored to be part of this evaluation campaign to promote young evaluators. In fact, at CMS, it's our commitment to encourage young evaluators in profession of evaluation and also to promote good evaluation practices. In fact, it's not only commitment but a strategy as well to encourage young evaluators in team because they bring new ideas and also innovative approaches and energy in the team to move ahead and meet the milestones. So we look forward and continue to strengthen young evaluators in the evaluation sector.
Thank you.
So all the best to the participants in Colombo. I am missing the warm hospitality that I got last time. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, dear attendees, our next award goes to Mongolian Evaluation Association. Also, they will be attending online. Please let us allow them. Applause, applause, and we connect with them. Kindly, you can speak. You have muted. Can you unmute your mic, please? Yes.
Is it working? Hello?
Thank you. You are okay to proceed.
Is it not working? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and are in Colombo. Greetings from Mongolia. And Mongolian Evaluation Association is truly honored to be recognized as a champion for the second time, super champion last year and now legacy champion. Promoting youth in evaluation is one of our strategic goals, and we are very proud to say that we kept this commitment and will continue to create a space for young people to engage meaningfully, to show their courageous leadership, and also to take an active role in shaping the evaluation. And as an example of our dedication in action, I myself, who is also a young and emerging evaluator, was recently appointed as the president of MEA, and I think this is one of the examples. And thank you for this recognition, and congratulations to all the champions here today. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our last award for the Legacy Champion goes to United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm truly honored to receive this award on behalf of my organization. So I have the privilege to be here today. My director of evaluation couldn't join us, but he still wanted to personally share a message of gratitude for this award. So if you can please.
Greetings to you all. On behalf of the UNICEF Evaluation Office, I'd like to thank you very, very sincerely for honoring us with the Legacy Champion Award. This recognition is more than a milestone. It's a powerful reminder of our purpose to uplift young voices and empower their leadership. Young people are not just the future, they are also the present. Their ideas, their energy, and their lived experiences are essential to building evaluations that are inclusive, relevant, and impactful. Across our work here at UNICEF, we're seeing what happens when we engage young people. In Pakistan, for example, our evaluations now include the young and emerging evaluator. These young leaders are not just participating, they're driving change with bold ideas and fresh insights. Youth participation isn't optional. It's necessary because it has the opportunity to be transformational. To young people everywhere, this is your moment. Your voice has power. Your ideas are shaping the future of evaluation. So please keep speaking up, keep showing up. We're here to listen, to learn, and to stand with you. Thank you very much.
Wow, what an inspiring statement. Could we maybe give another round of applause to all of our 2025 Legacy Champions? And, well, now we have to unfortunately move swiftly on. So it's my great honor to be able to present the 2025 Super Champion recognition. This honor is bestowed on organizations that have pushed the boundaries of youth involvement in evaluation and have truly gone above and beyond the commitment made to the youth and evaluation standards. And they've demonstrated remarkable commitment and have made significant strides in implementing the youth and evaluation standards. Wow, that's a mouthful right there. So our first champion that we would like to recognize tonight is actually Eval Youth North America, represented by Olivia Melvin.
Thank you so much. This award is very encouraging, but there's still a lot of work to be done. We are a board of entirely young and emerging evaluators, which I want to take a second to name because none of my colleagues could be here with me. Anupriya Davenport and Deja Love, Jadalyn Martinez, Kayla Eisen, Kian Ashraf, Rashid, and Lydia Aragai are critical to keeping this work moving forward. Also a special thanks to former board members Cher Gibson and Malka Elkin for carrying this work forward and ensuring that we get this reward. So I appreciate you all, and let's keep the work going.
Thank you, Olivia. Next, I'd like to call on the Department of Development, Communication and Extension, Lady Irwin College, University of Delhi, represented by Rushi Kashik, Assistant Professor.
Good afternoon, everyone. On the behalf of Department of Development, Communication and Extension, Lady Irwin College, University of Delhi, and Professor Archana Kumar, who's a mentor and senior faculty in the department, I'm truly honored to receive this award. Actually, I would like to dedicate this award to all our students, our alumni, our partners, and especially the communities we work with, the youth. Actually, I would also like to share with you, right now for this event, 4 of us, or you can say alumni of the department are here, which actually tells the commitment towards evaluation for us. So thank you once again. Thank you, Team Eval for Action for this. Thank you.
I would next like to call or award a super champion status to Taras Shevchenko, National University of Kiev, represented here today by Antonina Rishko-Porcescu.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is a great pleasure to receive this award on behalf of Taras Shevchenko Kyiv National University. And it is also a great opportunity to thank to all professors, assistant professors, and to all my colleagues in Ukraine who in time of war and continuous bombing is actually transferring skills in evaluation to young and emerging evaluators. Yes, to give them opportunity to have practice in current war. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Our next award goes to the Association for Evaluation and Social Survey, Vanilu Andriatsimataka, who I believe will be joining us online. So. Could you please unmute yourself? You're muted. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Is it working?
Yes, it's working.
Okay. So, Association for Evaluation and Social Survey called ASES is honored to have been designated as a super champion. We are grateful for this recognition and our committee to becoming legally champion in the coming years. Thank you. Long life to Eval for Action, Youth in Evaluation.
Our next award goes to the Academia Nacional de Evaluadores de México, represented by Diana Valadez. Do you mind unmuting yourself?
Thank you. Good day from Mexico. Good afternoon, everyone in Colombo. Speaking of the National Academy of Evaluators from Mexico, ACEVAL, I want to express our gratitude for this recognition. This award is a true honor and reaffirms our commitment to creating relevant opportunities for young people within our BOPE and in the evaluation of public policies. We deeply believe that youth participation brings fresh perspectives, energy, and innovation to evaluation. That's why at ACEVAL we are dedicated to supporting youth and engagement across all our activities, amplifying their voices and providing mentorship opportunities, especially now in the evolving landscape of evaluation in Mexico. Empowering future generations is more important than ever. Thank you to Eval for Action for championing this great initiative, and a special thanks to Nancy Morales, Miriam Ordóñez, and Carlos Galindo for the exceptional support implementing the Youth in Evaluation standards at ACEVAL. This recognition inspires us to continue building a more inclusive and forward-thinking evaluation culture with young people at its core. Best wishes for an extraordinary summit in Colombo. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next award goes to Monev Studio, represented by Inayatul Fitriye. Inayatul, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for the Eval for Action team. No tribe to receive the Super Champion Award from the Eval for Action. Monev Studio Global commits to create a long-term, sustainable, yet purposeful engagement among youth, young and emerging evaluators in evaluations. This award becomes a reminder for us to always ignite the spirit for creating impactful actions in our community and continue to build the future together. Let's keep advocating and empowering youth for the future of evaluations. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next award goes to the Réseau Nigérien de Suivi et Évaluation, represented by Idrissa Shefubala, who is unfortunately not here today, so then we will move swiftly on. And our next award goes to Clones House LLC, represented by Rachel Okonokwo. Hi, Noel. Rachel, you're muted.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Good day, everyone. I'm Noel Uloko, receiving this award on behalf of Clones House. I understand I have 60 seconds. So on behalf of the team, I'm honored to accept this Youth in Evaluation Super Champion Award and a great opportunity to appreciate some of my colleagues, Oludotun Babayemi, Rachel Okoronko, Princess Ode, and Magdalene Nickel for the teamwork that has brought us this far. Last year, we were grateful to be named an emerging super champion, and today's recognition is a proud milestone that reflects our continued commitment to youth inclusion in evaluation. At Clones House, we believe that young people are not only the future of evaluation, they are the present. We've prioritized youth-led initiatives, co-creation, and capacity building that allow young evaluators to lead, to learn, and make meaningful contributions. This award belongs to every young person who has partnered with us to deliver impactful work, and to the Eval for Action campaign for creating a global space where youth voices are valued. We remain committed to raising the bar on youth engagement and look forward to even greater impact in the years to come. Thank you, and we congratulate all fellow champions as well today. Thank you very much.
And our final award in this category, our penultimate award in this category goes to l'Initiative Ivoirienne pour l'Évaluation, represented by Samuel Kouakou. Thank you, Samuel. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Dear all, this Ivorian Initiative for Evaluations is deeply honored to receive today the International Youth in Evaluation Super Champion Award. We are very pleased, especially since this is the second award we have received following the Youth in Evaluation Emerging Evaluation Champion received last year, 2024. This award culminated more than 10 years of tireless work promoting evaluation and building the capacity of young and emerging evaluators at the national and international level. Many thanks to Eval for Action and our various partners in Côte d'Ivoire and internationally for enabling us to obtain this award. We assure you of our full availability and commitment to continue this noble mission of promoting evaluation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And the final award in this category, finally, goes to the South African Monitoring and Evaluation Association, represented by Stefan Paulsen. Please unmute, Stefan. And again. You're still muted.
Okay.
There we go.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hi. Yeah. Okay. Hi, good day, everyone. I'm truly humbled and honored to receive this award on behalf of the South African Monitoring and Evaluation Association, SAMEA for short. It reflects the hard work of many young emerging evaluators, mentors, and partners who've made the SAMEA Emerging Evaluators program what it is today. I'm so proud to be part of a movement that creates real opportunities for young people from marginalized backgrounds, helping them grow, lead, and thrive. A heartfelt thank you to Nana Davies, the EU Portfolio Lead, and our amazing partners, UNICEF South Africa, the World Food Programme, ClearA, based at Wits University, and the New Development Bank and First Rand Foundation. Together we're building a future where youth don't just have a seat at the table, they lead it as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we move forward now with our program, we are thrilled to present our 2025 Youth Evaluation Champions. This distinguished group comprises an organization that have achieved notable progress across all 6 dimensions of the youth in evaluation standards. Now, our first recipient of this award would be Samboth Research and Communication.
Thank you so much. On the behalf of Sambodhi, an organization from Global South, led by the young evaluators who are standing right there, we're very humbled to receive this award. I think I'll just go back to what the Honorable Prime Minister said, who is going to evaluate the evaluators. And these are the people who are going to be evaluating the evaluators, because we are, after all, just borrowing the stage from them. I just want to say in conclusion 3 things. One is, these people don't believe in learning on the job. They come to the job prepared. That's one thing for sure. The second thing is that inclusivity as well as AI is embedded in their DNA, as Anna rightly said. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Our next award goes to Center for Evaluation, University of Saarland. Reinhard Stockman, Prof. You are welcome.
So thank you so much, and it's me, it's not my avatar or something like that. I'm really here in person. Very much honored for this award, and it will motivate us to continue as we have done before and to develop further. And well, in our last session, there was the question discussed if evaluation is sexy. So if evaluation is really an important and attractive topic. And I answered, yes, it is. Because what are we doing? We are using our competencies, working together with people to solve their problems and to make the world a little bit better. And I think this is a very attractive job, especially for young people doing that in the future, because you are the future of evaluation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Our next award goes to United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commission, and this will be attending online. Please allow them with this 30 seconds. You are muted. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Human Rights is very honored and excited to receive this award today. As a small evaluation function, we are proud of the fact we have made engaging
more youth-inclusive evaluation culture. But there is still much more to do. We strongly believe in the transformative power of young and emerging evaluators, and this recognition strengthens our commitment to scale up our initiatives, and inclusive practice. Many thanks again, and we look forward to continuing this work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next award goes to Institute of Development Policy, University of Antwerp. Please allow them. They are not available. Thank you. At least applause for them, even if they are not there. Our next award goes to Monitoring Evaluation Professional Association of Kenya. They are not there. At least applause for them. And the last award in this category goes to the presidents of Nigeria. Any representative? Yes. I praise them as they are coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. You can unmute and ready to speak. Kindly unmute your mic.
Hello?
Yes, proceed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. A very good morning from Abuja. I bring warm greetings from the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals. We are truly honored to receive this award at this 2025 Youth in Evaluation session.
Our final category for today's ceremony is Emerging Champions. However, we have had a super champion join just now, so hopefully we can hear from the Réseau Nigérien de Suivi Évaluation. It's after lunch, everyone. I believe even the technology is slow. It must be full.
Okay,
keep going. All right. All right.
Everyone.
All right.
Let me
To talk in French. Voilà. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est avec une profonde gratitude que je prends la parole au nom de l'ensemble des membres du réseau nigérien de suivi et évaluation pour recevoir ce prestigieux prix de super champion jeunesse dans l'évaluation. Nous remercions sincèrement les organisateurs pour cette reconnaissance qui honore notre engagement collectif au Niger. Nous remercions également la communauté des évaluateurs du Niger, tous les partenaires du RENS pour les multiples appuis dans le renforcement des capacités des évaluateurs émergents. Le gouvernement du Niger qui est notre champion pour la création d'un environnement favorable à l'évaluation. Ce qui nous inspire à continuer de bâtir une culture de l'évaluation, que ce sommet soit un tremplin pour une évaluation encore plus inclusive et transformatrice. Merci infiniment.
Merci. Well, we have our final category for today, and we welcome you to then join us in this final celebration of our emerging champions. And these are organizations that have demonstrated their commitment by meeting the youth evaluation standards through dedicated organizational work. So to kick off the emerging champions, I would like to invite the Network for Youth for Sustainable Innovation, please. Mr. Oluwabonmi Obayedi. Please unmute. Hi, you're muted.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone from... Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes. Good morning. We've lost audio.
No? Hello?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So on behalf of the advisory board, my director Joshua Alade, and my colleagues at the Network of Youth for Sustainable Initiative, NGSSDGs for short, and of course the young people we serve, I am honored to receive this recognition. And as a youth-led organization championing youth leadership in policies and programs, these awards affirm our commitment to meaningful youth engagement, and it belongs to every young person, partner, and team members who powers our mission. And of course, a very big thank you to the Evaluation for Action team for honoring our journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And our next award goes to the World Food Programme, represented by Sarah Longford. Well, or in this case, João Lima. Welcome, João.
Thank you, colleagues. On behalf of the Office of Evaluation from the World Food Programme, I can say that we are honored to be recognized as an emerging champion by the Evolve for Action and partners, and we are fully committed to further promoting youth values in evaluation, and of course, we look forward to being recognized as a champion in the coming year. Thank you very much.
Well, we are nearly there. Only two more champions to be awarded, and the first of the two goes to Plan International Nigeria, Comfort Rooney Effiom. And please unmute yourself. You're still muted.
Hello, good morning from Nigeria. On behalf of the leadership of Plan International Nigeria under the leadership of Country Director Charles Usier, we are honored to accept this award as Emerging Champion. This is the first time we are participating in the Youth in Evaluation Standards, and as an organization and enshrined in our country strategy, and over the last 10 years in Nigeria, we are committed to ensuring that young people are meaningfully engaged in monitoring and evaluation, and we look forward to upholding this standard. Thank you very much for this honor.
Thank you. And our final, but in no means least, award goes to the Office of the Prime Minister of Uganda, represented by Timothy Lubanga, who is not here today, so let's just give a warm round of applause to the Office of the Prime Minister.
Okay, thank you. Let us give final strong applause for all the winners tonight. This now concludes the award ceremony part. Congratulations to all those recognized tonight. And those who submitted a self-assessment this year, we invite you to meaningfully engage youth in evaluation from the different organizations and to submit self-assessment next year. We would like now to pass our Evo Youth Global Network Chair, this mic to our Evo Youth Global Network Chair, Anna, so at least you say a word of thank you. Please, welcome, Chair.
So, just very quickly, we just, on behalf of Eval Youth, we would just like to thank everyone for all of the efforts and support and investment that you've made for young people. These awards are just merely us trying to give our thanks back, and we just want you to know that, you know, if any of you who have submitted self-assessment report and didn't receive an award, it doesn't mean that we don't recognize all of your actions. Just take it so that our strength is Eval Youth is only possible because of the enabling environment that you, even as individuals, provide So thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. This is really inspiring and uplifting, but also it's really impressive to connect people from all around the world. Yes, we had to unmute all the time, but that's really nice. And so this Eval for Action, round 2 actually of these awards. And one observation is that so many of those organizations that are active in the youth area are also active in so many different areas in evaluation. They are really stars in their work, so we appreciate all of them. So there's also so much to learn from their journeys, and please do speak with the ones who are here and got the awards about their experience. That would be great. And now it's time for a much needed coffee break. I think after these sessions that we have 30 minutes. As you stretch your legs and grab refreshment, I have a little something also to share with you. Maybe you're familiar already now with the Eval torch. So it's it's a simple and collective call for action. This one, thank you, Leah. And here it is. You can take it and take a picture with it in the booth and post on social media about the summit. That would be really great. And we're back here 30 minutes, and we will have a great session and powerful convergence about youth and AI. Don't miss it. We look forward to you back here as well. And here, whoever grabs it first. Thank you, Leah and Barak. 30 minutes, yes. Oh, that was really good. It's really good.
J1 test.
Test. Oh, it's working. Very nice. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a refreshing break as people are coming back and ready for the final session of what has been already incredible and insightful first day of the summit. The discussions we've had so far, the first two sessions, have laid the perfect groundwork for what we're about to experience and to explore together. Now, we delve into a fascinating area, the powerful convergence of youth and AI. So at the center of the summit. And how this dynamic interplay is poised to shape the very future of evaluation. It is my pleasure to welcome the moderators who will guide us through this crucial conversation. Neha Karaka from the Independent Evaluation Office of UNFPA. Arshi Rezivi from the Data Intelligence Unit in India. And Zach Tilton from the Merrill Tech Initiative in the US. So we have a global panel here. Neha, Arshi, and Zach, the stage is all yours. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Khalil, and welcome everyone in the room and those joining us online for the third and last session of the summit today. The session is on shaping the future of youth in AI, and I'm co-facilitating this, as Khalil already mentioned, with Zach and Arshi right here. In this session, we will be looking at how AI innovation intersects with the global youth demographic. And now, of course, AI and youth are often buzzwords, but they are also mega trends that are shaping not just the world around us, but very much the evaluation landscape. So this session is really in three parts. We will first unpack opportunities, challenges, and risks in using AI in evaluation. And then we'll move on to some practical use cases of AI across one use case from the Global South and another one from the Global North. And then together we'll unpack what is the convergence of youth and AI, specifically as we talk about the future of evaluation. So with that, I will pass to Zach to take us through our first segment.
I might come up. Thank you, Neha. We are going to get started with a bit of a game just to loosen us up, get the juices going, and it's a game about opportunities and challenges within the ethics of AI, because it's a very high stakes intersection of evaluation and AI. We know that we need to be ethically minded. And so we're gonna play a myth or fact game. If you can join us, we'd love to have you by following the QR code to the Slido. And we're gonna start with questions that test your knowledge about AI-enabled evaluation. Will we see these as well on this? Okay. Perfect. Okay. So while we're getting ready to join the quiz, the first claim is this: myth or fact? AI can significantly reduce the time and resources required to conduct an evaluation. Let us know what you think. And we also have, of course, our participants from the virtual theater who will be participating as well. We look forward to their inputs. And we'll have just, about 30 seconds for each question where we collect your responses, and then we'll debrief. Yeah, I think we're good, Aaron. Thank you. Let's see what our first results are. Okay, so an overwhelming majority believes that this is indeed a fact, and we're off to a good start because it is a fact. We need to qualify this, of course, that Certainly AI does present the opportunity for us to improve the efficiency of our processes, but you need to be mindful about these things. There was an experimental study that was conducted at MIT that where one of the findings showed that generative AI can improve a highly skilled worker's performance by nearly 40% compared with workers who did not use AI. And the qualification there was that those workers who were using AI within the bounds of AI's functionality and what it was able to do, and not trying to go beyond those bounds. Okay, let's go to the next claim. So, is this claim 2, claim 3? We're on claim 3. Addressing the ethical challenges of AI and evaluation is the responsibility of AI developers, evaluators, policymakers, and other stakeholders. We'll have a few more seconds to make sure we're registering your responses, and then we'll close that out. Okay, thanks. And let's go ahead and see the results. Okay, interesting. We had almost a very similar split there, and the reality is, yes, this is a fact. It's incumbent. This is kind of a normative statement, though, right, of what ought to be done, of all those stakeholders that are involved in the development, the deployment, the use, and the maintenance of these tools and technologies, and especially evaluators, individual evaluators. They have a responsibility to be principled, and so be principle driven when it comes to technology use and evaluation. Evaluation units should be developing their policies and strategies for how they want the protocols or procedures to engage AI. And then, of course, VOPs. VOPs have a responsibility to help shape the responsible use of AI in their networks and craft. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next claim, myth or fact, AI can automatically design complex evaluation frameworks, eliminating the need for human expertise. We'll give it, I think we're ready. Okay, we got 100% on the myth. Give yourself a round of applause. We already have dogged and very sharp evaluation leaders in this room and online who have that literacy, AI literacy. Certainly, AI can, it doesn't eliminate the need for human oversight and critical thinking throughout the evaluation process. In fact, it actually raises the stakes and invites us to use evaluative thinking even more. So great to see that result. Let's go to the next claim. Myth or fact, relying on AI in evaluation eliminates the possibility of human error. All right, we'll take 5 seconds to get your responses in, and then we'll have Aaron close and see the results. Okay, there we go. It is indeed a myth. Wouldn't it be nice, though? Wouldn't that just be fantastic? I know I could use a lot of that. Over-reliance on AI, algorithms, algorithmic or automated decision-making systems can lead to automation bias. Right? This is where human evaluators may fail to critically assess AI-generated outputs and overlooking the errors and limitations in those outputs. It's almost a kind of a inclination that something is polished or is automated or comes from a machine, we're likely to trust it more. And so it's great to see you have that critical bent when it comes to not taking everything as gospel truth. Let's go to the next claim. AI models are not free from biases present in the data they are trained on. Myth or fact? Okay, I think we can show the results here. Great, there we go. We definitely have a fact that these neural nets, these algorithms are absolutely not free from bias. As evaluators, we have a long-standing preoccupation with bias, being transparent about biases and priors, or even bias reduction, depending on what paradigm you subscribe to. Some have termed that algorithms are just opinions embedded in code. And we might think of algorithms as values embedded in code. What were those developers valuing? What were they weighting? How were they weighting the performance, and what dimensions of criteria for these tools? AI learns patterns from its training data, so any existing biases in that data can be reflected and even amplified in the model's outputs. And there's plenty of research that have demonstrated how these systems can be biased, that they are biased and can amplify biases. All right, the last claim. Myth or fact? AI guarantees higher quality evaluation reports by removing subjective human interpretation. Okay, I'm seeing folks getting their responses in. Let's go ahead. And again, y'all are very sharp today. This is indeed a myth. While AI can enhance the trustworthiness in certain analyses, human judgment is still needed to interpret the results, address nuance, and ensure that the report or the evaluation product or the outputs of that analysis are meaningful, relevant, useful for intended users. So with that, I am going to thank you so much for engaging us with this myth or fact game, and give yourselves a round of applause for being so sharp and already having that literacy that we need. Neha.
Really outlined not just the myths, but some foundational facts about AI literacy and evaluation, which really becomes the segue into our next section, which is on how do we now practically use AI in evaluation? What are some of the use cases? Does it really work? And are there any efficiency gains? We see the application of AI across the evaluation cycle. So from evaluation planning, evaluation design, from data collection, analysis, reporting, dissemination, communication to evidence use. The core idea here, of course, that AI is not replacing humans, but rather humans remain in the loop and continue driving the application of AI. So the idea is to optimize the evaluation process and augment the process, looking for strong efficiency gains in terms of time saving or resource saving and so on. At UNFPA, we've been acutely aware of the immense potential of AI, and at the same time, we are very mindful of responsible innovation practices in this field. And that led to the genesis of the strategy that you see on the screen. This is UNFPA's strategy for Gen AI-powered evaluation. What sets apart this strategy is really its deep look into risk mitigation. It provides a framework on how do we work with challenges, opportunities as well as risks when it comes to AI application and evaluation. We think it's a pioneering resource for the evaluation community, and please find the QR code available if you'd like to share this further and explore it further. With that, I'd like to call Arshi to share a deep dive case study from India. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Zach. So this is a case study about our project in Maharashtra. The districts are Osmanabad and Amravati. So here our project is on collecting automated data collection basically and sentiment analysis using the local languages and voice inputs. So it's sometimes very difficult to get involved in a setting where multiple languages are involved. So in case of Maharashtra, there are a majority of the people are speaking Marathi, minority of them are speaking Hindi, and few of them are speaking English. So some of the challenges comes across the, next slide please, across the, our project is how to collect data with diversity of language, right? Sometimes we missed a few of the data points. Apart from that, sometimes we miss the emotional cues. If we want to understand about the frustration of the stakeholders or the hope, the regrets about any scheme, programs, or government implementation in their area. So we missed such emotional cues. Apart from that, sometimes policymakers and evaluators feel how they want some real-time reports, right? And in case of traditional methods of evaluation, we generally delayed in reporting. We take a lot of time in doing reporting, but using AI, we see how quicker we are in getting reports in dynamic time. So apart from that, about human biases, you have already covered about that. While translating these data or transcribing this huge data in multilingual setting, it is difficult to ignore human biases. Even if you try to translate using Google Translator, then also you are not getting the exact gist of the questions or the emotion of a person. So we are humans, right? So we make mistakes. So what are the AI solutions we can use to think about a very dynamic model, right? So if we think about using this natural language processing for using for detecting multilingual language setting or emotion clues, or we can say then we are using BART-based classifiers, doc-based services for scalability, portability, and such devices, right? Hugging Face transformer, big, huge GPUs, and a lot of climate damage. And so now evaluators are like a bit overloaded with such big, huge AI models. So I don't think so. Just wait. We'll see how AI can be so quick without any load, without any code. Yeah. So our solution based on just a drag and drop system where you just drag a node. The function of node, every node defines data cleaning, data processor, data analyzer, AI implementation. You just need to drag it and you just need to connect it at a correct place. You just don't need coding. You don't need to write any code or nothing. So I'll come back to this slide. So this is the setup or the dashboard or the platform NIME gives us. In this case study of sentiment analysis, what we did, we divided it into 4 sections, define network, then pre-processing, training and prediction, and evaluation. So each node is just defining their particular function. What exactly we do in data analysis, right? We collect the data, then we read it. then we clean it, okay? This is a basic pipeline of data processing. Then if you want to implement some machine learning models, then we use a skill kit, then we use matplotlib kind of libraries if we are doing coding, right? But here you just need to understand the proper alignment of nodes, and every pre-prepared AI element is here. You just need to drag it and drop it here and connect it. So this is reducing a lot of time. So in the back slide, if you see the traditional evaluation methods versus the AI-powered methods. So in data collection, or we can say at the initial stage of survey design, traditional methods took 7 to 10 days, like literature review, then preparing our design, first draft, second draft, there are iterations. So it takes a lot of time. When we are using AI-enabled evaluation process, so it reduced to 5 to 7 days because the multiple literature review is reduced, right? But the draft and the iteration, because we want it human-centric, we want it to be hybrid intelligent, not just artificial intelligence. So it is reduced by significant amount of time. Then the collection. So here in traditional method, we do survey-based collection or database collections or secondary data, right? But when we are using AI, then we can do social media data analysis, right? Secondary data. So a lot more data analysis we can do, or we can collect data at huge level from open sources also, from government websites also. Now we come up like text translation plus coding. So if you are in a setting of multilingual thing, you need a huge team. You need a professionals who understand Marathi or different languages to convert it into the data which your machine or Excel or XLML sheet requires, right? So we need approximately 30 to 40 days. I'm generalizing it right now. But if we use AI-enabled solution, for example, in NIME, less than 8 hours per batch, right? It reduced time significantly. Now we are coming up for reporting, right? So in reporting also, we keep on getting feedback from policymakers or senior evaluators, need to correct this, need to correct that, and kind of so many things are there. So in traditional method, generally we require 10 to 15 days of reporting, but when we are using AI-enabled solutions, then it reduced to 1 day. The first draft, then iteration will keep on going. If we talk about the feedback integration, traditional methods took a lot of time, like monthly or 2 months, 6 monthly reporting, or the feedback loops keep on going. But if we are using AI-enabled dashboards, it will reduce the time by weekly, right? Or it makes the system dynamic or real time. Now, the youth involvement. When we are talking about the traditional evaluation methods, youth are there to just collect a significant amount of data, but we miss them in decision-making process. But here, if we are using AI-enabled evaluation, then there is a lot of time, and we can get the insights from the youth who are the field workers, right? Who are grounded to the field, who are collecting the data. They can be involved in analysis, in reporting, in decision-making process. So I think the YEs are in danger because everyone here know a lot about AI and they can quickly do it AI thing. So next slide. Yeah. So here the concrete output, what we get in our study is it reduces our time significantly by 80%. It's huge. We are saving our time for decision making and for other tasks as well, right? For different iterations and whatnot. Dashboard alerts for policymakers, for senior evaluators, for everyone. The real-time feedback we are getting from AI-enabled evaluation. We are fostering a response cycle weekly, or it depends on the team how frequently you want the updated dashboards. Or emotional insights are captured, like the frustration of the stakeholders, on-ground realities without any human biases, and youth as well as the evaluators are trained in evaluation as well as using AI for the betterment. So I think AI isn't a threat because in last few sessions I've heard a lot AI will take our job. But I don't think so now. It gives us momentum for better evaluation process. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Archie. That was I loved the case study. I loved that you had documented the difference that make, and it really is something that's needed for us as we're experimenting with AI-enabled evaluation practice. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a case study of a youth-focused evaluation process that used artificial intelligence within evaluation facilitation. In particular, my organization was contracted to work with a global youth development organization that really prioritizes and values meaningful youth engagement and empowerment in their programmatic aspects of their work. And similarly, with their evaluation portfolio, they strive to be value aligned in their youth-focused and youth-driven evaluation work. So as we know, as Michael Patton had reminded us with SDGs and how dynamic our operational spaces are, sometimes our theories of change our theories of change ought to be updated as we get more evidence, new insights, as we question assumptions that we had when they were developed. And we were tasked to do a theory of change redesign with this organization and these youth. So what we decided to do, and I'll share with you, actually, let me come to our dilemma. Our question was, how do we meaningfully engage young people in what can often be a very technical, technocratic, alienating process to be dealing with theories of change, theory-based evaluation work that can be heavy on the jargon and, wrapping your head around causal logic and the assumptions, that sometimes presents a really high barrier for engagement for non-professionals. And so we were really trying to think, is there a way that AI could help us lower that barrier and have significant, meaningful engagement? Let me go back. And so what our solution was to use two types of AI chatbots. The first chatbot we used was we developed multiple ways for the young people to do text-to-image generation. They could either go online or they could use WhatsApp and do image generation right within a conversation with this chatbot. And what we prompted them to do was to say, create an image that represents the change that you hope this organization has in 5 years, that you hope this theory of change redesign encapsulates. And so that was kind of just us getting our feet wet with the youth and the young professionals who are working so that they can be accustomed to the chatbots. Some hadn't used the chatbots before. We were teaching them how to do very simple, basic prompting techniques so that they can get as best results. The second tool we used was a custom chatbot that had been, we had taken that chatbot to ingest theory and documentation about how to do theory of change redesign. And we gave them access to multiple types of custom chatbots that they could use. In fact, I believe I have an example of this. So this, I'm looking for a laser pointer. I don't think I have it. This is one of the custom chatbots, an example of the system prompt. And so as the custom chatbot designers, we instructed how this chatbot should behave and interact with the youth. And the youth were then able to have an expert in their hand that enabled them to have conversations with that chatbot. We also uploaded, with permission of the organization, theory of change, the proprietary, their organizational theory of change material. And so the young people were able to have conversations and dialogues with this chatbot to interrogate the in-use theory of change, to ask about assumptions that were embedded there, to ask about blind spots that maybe the old theory of change hadn't been attending to, and it enabled these young folks to be able to hit the ground running when it came to this work. Again, barriers to entry were lowered, right? Because it sometimes can be hard. You have to do a lot of prefigurative evaluation capacity development, even to just get folks on the same page with how to work with theories of change. It did enable us to have really meaningful participation. We were able to go further and deeper because each individual had that expert and had practiced and had those conversations with the chatbot. There was process use that was happening, right? We were able to develop the capacity of these young folks who, most of them were young professionals. They weren't young and emerging evaluators. It enabled for a stronger process, and we feel a stronger product because the youth had an ownership of that process. And again, we facilitated conversations about the technologies we were using, the technologies we weren't using, why we were using them for this particular process, and enabled us to really work toward developing a critical AI literacy among the young people in this organization. So for us, we felt after this experience that AI-enabled evaluation didn't have to be complicated, though there's many great sophisticated tools out there that you can use to turbocharge or enable analytical or data collection or reporting processes. These were just turnkey solutions that were no code, that we just needed to plug and play, and that we could apply in our evaluation facilitation. And I think that custom chatbots actually presents what should be a common modality for enabling young and emerging evaluators to turbocharge their experience with evaluation. So simple experiments can yield significant results with AI-enabled evaluation experimenting.
Well, thank you, Zach and Arshi. And I think what I take away from your experiences is that AI-enabled evaluation need not be complicated. And perhaps that's hitting hard to a lot of people who might have different levels of AI literacy. What also stands out and is very appreciative that as you use these new technologies, you're mindful of documenting and keeping a knowledge management perspective through these journeys, really seeing, are we getting efficiency gains? Are there effectiveness gains? And really taking an informed decision on going forward with AI or not. That brings us to our next segment, convergence of youth in AI. You've already made a great base with your case studies on how AI is already revolutionizing evaluation. But imagine combining this power of AI with the dynamism, the insights, and the sheer force of 1.8 billion young people today. And as we delve into the synergy, let's first hear from our AI avatars, young evaluators from 2035, Alicia and Jimmy, on what they think about this conversion.
Thinking about the future, it's all about youth and AI converging.
Young evaluators growing up with technology are now leading the charge in applying AI to our field.
Their digital fluency allows for innovative uses of AI, making evaluation more efficient and insightful than ever before.
Conversely, ethical AI empowers these young minds with advanced tools for deeper analysis and broader impact.
By actively engaging youth in the development and ethical application of AI, we unlock the true potential of evaluation for the future.
Okay, so that was Alicia and Jimmy from the future, AI avatars with an AI script. And as you may have noticed, they have a very interesting positive perspective to how this convergence looks like in the future. But of course, there's a room full of evaluators here, and we are humans, and we must add some nuance to this message. So let's unpack this conversation a little bit further with a game. You will soon see, yes, a QR code. We are playing a picture game. You will see a picture on screen for each of the questions with multiple choices to answer. Okay, so that's the first picture. We see an intergenerational group with a device, and let's use our imagination here. They are using some kind of AI tool together. So the question is, what potential advantage might youth have when using AI tools? A, youth's digital native experiences may give them an intuitive understanding of how AI operates. Youth are less resistant to AI usage compared to older generations. Or young digital citizens champion responsible data practice in AI-enabled evaluation, or all of the above. So let's put in those responses from the room and also from the virtual theater. Okay. I think the responses are still coming in. Let's keep it going if you haven't already input your answer. And the results are coming up on the screen now. And yes, I think we are on the same page. The answer is all of the above. Youth, of course, are Gen AI natives, and this has been coming up again and again in the 3 sessions we've had today and also in the conclave. And they certainly have a comparative advantage in understanding this new technology. And their digital native experience gives them an intuitive understanding, and they're also less resistant to innovation when it comes to new technology, and are definitely, as we see, early adopters. Young digital citizens also have a heightened awareness to responsible data practices. But what does all this mean for the future of evaluation? One way to think about this is, how do we make young people more integrated into our evaluation processes? And how do we think about more stronger intergenerational partnerships in each stage of the evaluation so that we can actually not only tap the strength of young people, but also the seasoned evaluators? So this is something we hope that we can unpack not only in this conversation later, but also in session 6, tomorrow, when we are talking about multi-stakeholder and intergenerational partnerships. With that, let's move to the next question. So here are a set of images, from different settings. And the other thing to notice here is their expressions. Again, let's use our imagination. They are on different devices, possibly using some kind of an AI application or tool. And with that, please reflect on this question. Based on the images, what is a key observation about young people's engagement with AI? A, the majority of young people are excited about AI. B, AI technology is universally accessible and understood by the majority of youth. And C, familiarity and engagement with AI vary among young people. Please put that in. Okay, virtual theater, hello to you. I hope you are putting in your responses. And I see responses are coming in, and the correct answer indeed is C. We are all on the same page. Familiarity and engagement with AI vary among young people. And actually, this is not anecdotal. This is backed by data. A recent report by Generation Unlimited called Preparing Youth to Work in an AI-Powered World said 35% of young people are actually completely unfamiliar with AI. And we see not only a digital divide, but we also see a gender divide. And we also see a global north and global south divide. So the least familiarity was seen in the West and Central Africa region. So clearly we see that the gains from AI among youth are uneven. And when we talk about the future of evaluation, it's important to reflect on inclusion, which young people are being brought into evaluation, Are they digital citizens? How can we end the digital divide? With that, let's move on to the third one. Okay, so this is, I think, a self-explanatory kind of image, a young person with a signage. The question is, what is the primary concern expressed by some youth regarding the increasing use of AI? Misinformation, digital fatigue, job displacement by Gen AI, or data privacy? Okay, keep those answers coming in. Last 5 seconds. And let's see the answers. Well, that's correct. The answer is job displacement by Gen AI. And like I said previously, this finding is also backed by data from the Generation Unlimited report. I think it's important to acknowledge that there is real anxiety among young people when it comes to entry-level jobs, and that Gen AI, when it starts to execute more and more complex tasks, it might be difficult for young people to get jobs. But let me not paint a bleak picture. Every time there is a technological revolution, the world has shown that the job market shifts. And that happened with the Industrial Revolution, that happened when personal computing came, that happened with the Internet revolution. And now we are in the Gen AI revolution. So yes, is the job market shifting within evaluation? And when we look into the future, the answer likely is yes. So what are the opportunities is the question to ask here. What are the opportunities for new evaluation jobs when we think about the future of evaluation? So certainly data-enabled, AI-enabled data analysts, evaluation prompt engineers, evaluators that can evaluate AI initiatives that are embedded in programs, also evaluators that have a good sense of AI ethics and can look at AI bias reduction and so on. So there are various new kind of jobs that are also opening up with the advent of AI. And at the same time, I think it's important to remember that human-based skills in evaluation will always be in demand. AI cannot replace any task that requires stakeholder engagement. It cannot take over trust building in evaluation. And this was a point that came out in session 1, how important it is to build trust in evaluations and evaluators. When it comes to relationship building, AI, of course, cannot replace that. Ethical oversight and judgment roles of human evaluators will always stay. Contextual interpretation efforts, strategic foresight, and strategic evaluation use. These are definitely areas where human skills will always remain paramount. So just to conclude this section, I think we've established that when it comes to Gen AI, young people are definitely the forerunners. But yes, we need targeted skill development. We need more AI literacy, not just for young people, but also for middle-level evaluators and for seasoned experts. And we also need to look at innovative, inclusive partnerships that can really break the digital divide and really bring about inclusion as we step into this AI-powered evaluation world. With that, let me hand over to Arshi.
Thank you very much, Neha. So now I think it's time for another game. Yeah. So we are playing word cloud. So take out your phone, scan, and just put whatever comes in your mind related to evaluation, monitoring, AI. So just scan it. Just scan it, the big one. Yeah. Are you still overloaded with AI? No? Okay. Yes, start. In one word, what guides the future of evaluation, youth and AI in evaluation? Ruchi. Critical thinking, great. What else? Ethics, synergy, empathy, evaluative thinking, open mind, technology driven. That's cool. Creativity, accountability, synergy, assessment, inclusivity, innovation, right? What else? You can put multiple entries. Truth, continuous learning, exactly. Accessibility, patience, yes, of course. Policy, care, questions. Accountability again, laziness, okay? Honesty, right. Truth, I think accountability, ethics, critical thinking, most of the people are feeding in. Efficiency, right. Using AI, we can increase the efficiency, productivity, right. Simplification, true. Human oversight, yeah. I would like to coin a word here that is hybrid intelligence, right? Human plus artificial, so we can just say hybrid intelligence. Patience, evaluative thinking, nice. Vigilant. Curiosity, great. Ease of evaluation, yeah, very important. As how fast we are moving in this world of technology, it's very important to have the ease of evaluation, right? Leadership, great. What else? Care conscience. Right-spaced approach. Great. Gap filling. Nice. So you are well aware. Acceptance. Yes. Internet. Great. So yeah. So for concluding this, AI and evaluation is just not including a technology into monitoring or evaluation or in the traditional field of monitoring and evaluation, but it gives us momentum, it gives us accountability, it gives us efficiency, productivity, critical thinking, and inclusivity, right? So yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful words. Yeah, Zach, yeah. So now we want to conclude the session. I would like to invite Zach for concluding remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, RC. So a few thoughts that I have. AI presents profound risks and opportunities for evaluation. And we as evaluators, we face a critical choice at this moment, at this kind of inflection point of just how disruptive the technology has been for all of the kind of knowledge economies and knowledge workers, not just evaluators. But the choice that we have is to either shape AI use in our evaluation field or to be shaped by AI use in our field. And it really resonates, and I appreciate the words that Marco shared at the opening ceremony, in the sense that, you know, it's neither a question of rejecting or embracing, but in shaping AI. And I would extend that the sphere of influence that we have as evaluators to shape AI. Maybe we're not in the boardrooms of Silicon Valley, but we are in our VOPs, we're on the boards, we are here in our evaluation projects, and that's where the shaping takes place. Youth are digital natives, and you know, young folks can have that radical spirit and that rebellious spirit to challenge the evaluation orthodoxy and the old guard, not to pit, because I know we're intergenerational and that's what we value here. But oftentimes there's things we need to unlearn in evaluation, and youth are really great shepherds for us to reveal what are those blind spots that we maybe have become accustomed to in our practice. As we do AI-enabled, youth-focused, and youth-driven evaluation, the principles and standards, especially with the award ceremony that we saw of all these great organizations that are picking up and applying the youth standards in evaluation, those are still and especially applicable for AI-enabled evaluation. And finally, I was very heartened to hear the Prime Minister's message or question, really, of who's going to evaluate the evaluators. I don't think I've ever heard a head of state advocate for meta evaluation before, so that's a first, and as a meta evaluator, I'm very thrilled at that. But this is actually a very important aspect for the future of evaluation, of youth and evaluation and AI-enabled evaluation, which is this: just as theories of change and or principles are only hunches until we evaluate them, the promise and the big bet of AI helping evaluation be better, faster, stronger is only a hunch or anecdotal until we actually describe what AI-enabled evaluation looks like and compare and can actually make a relative judgment claim in terms of the relative merit of using AI for a process versus not using AI. And so I really appreciated Archie leading out in that example of documenting what this looks like and what were the gains in terms of the criterion, the meta-evaluative criterion of efficiency. Right? Hopefully we can continue to expand through the whole host of meta-evaluative frameworks that we have in our regions, in our national chapters, and as a profession, to really kick the tires and make sure we're applying that evaluative thinking and logic and reasoning to AI-enabled evaluation. And I'd like to coin a term, because you're very inspiring, the application of hybrid intelligence for evaluation intelligence. That we have the evaluative thinking that we're using, our evaluative thinking to evaluate AI tools, and we're using also those tools to help and enable our evaluation process. So those are my concluding thoughts. Thank you.
Well, let me add my concluding thoughts to Zach's. When we are thinking about the future of evaluation and we are thinking how to keep evaluation relevant, it's also about thinking how to keep the evaluators relevant. And here I'm thinking about 4 C's. So the first C I see is curiosity. So the curiosity to learn, whether you're young or a seasoned expert, the curiosity to keep pace with new technology, AI and others, and the curiosity to keep experimenting and seeing how this new technology with AI and beyond can continue to shape evaluation. The second C, I would say, is competence. So building AI literacy and competency and skills for all evaluators across all generations. And continuing also to nurture the human skills that will always remain paramount in evaluation. The third C is collaboration. How can we nurture more unique and innovative partnerships and inclusive partnerships in this space? So how about a partnership with a tech company, a university, and a WOPE and Evaluate chapter that looks at curating a course on AI literacy for evaluators, no matter your age? The last C, an important one, I would say, is consequence. So as we think about the future of evaluation, to be acutely aware that new technologies come with a set of risks and harms. And when we walk into this future, we walk with ethics, inclusion, and accountability, putting strong guardrails. Thank you.
So keeping in mind the evaluation as it is evolving, and keeping in mind what tools we are considering, like AI and all, I wrote a short poem. So yeah, here it is. Evaluation is changing every day. AI can help but not lead the way. Young people and tech should work as a team, turning data to action using AI, not just a dream. Local voices matters. They must be heard. Mixing old and new is not unheard. It's for everyone, not just for few. Let's keep it fair and grounded too. Thank you.
Thank you, Arshi. We've had a really interactive experience here in panel, the games, the word clouds, but we've had our final word. We want to hear from y'all. And so we're going to invite folks who are in person and at the virtual theater to share a very pithy 1 or 2 liner, no more than 15 seconds at most, right? Because we have maybe 5 or 7 minutes, but we have so much experience and expertise in the room. And so if you're feeling inspired by what you've heard, either in this session or in other sessions, as you're thinking about the future of evaluation, the role of youth and technology, let's hear from you. So we'll start in the room here, and then we'll move to the virtual theater. 5 minutes. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Khalil.
So after hearing all the discussion around AI, youth, and what is going on, my fear of using AI has gone down, and I'm looking forward to using it in my evaluations.
Thank you so much. Who's next? I'm just going to use the space and walk and get up in your... Here you go. There you go.
I can be controversial. My fear with AI is this oversimplification of the real challenge that is behind. So that's my fear when we talk about this subject.
That's a healthy fear, I should say. Yes, thank you. Yes.
I'm going to add to the list of fear is the evidence of saying that youth are automatically geared towards an ethical approach, because we have a lot of data which says that women are trolled, they find a lot of abuse even in the digital spaces. So one would want to know where the data is coming, because you said that that was the correct answer, that women, all of the above was the correct answer. So for me, I'm going back with that question, and I hope to find answers.
That sounds like a lot of evaluative thinking right there about AI, so it's great. Who else? Yep, do you want to, and I'll stay back here. Is that microphone working?
Yes.
Oh, you got one.
For me, my fear is over-reliant on these AI tools, especially among us youth, because this will cause now for people to be less thinkers because of depending too much on technology. So this is only the area of fear I have.
Yeah. That's a great recognition. We don't want to be susceptible to automation bias. Love the fears. Let's hear about some hopes. What do you got?
I have actually 2 questions.
Oh, and just to be clear, we're not going to be able to answer any questions, but we will afterwards. If you have questions, we're just doing statements.
Okay, so we can even take it in that way. So basically, we have to be really concerned about the data security, right? Because when we talk about all these AI tools, we are not actually addressing how we are securing all the data that has been uploaded to our AI tools. So that is one thing, and especially in the rural context where internet is still not present, how we are going to use AI in those contexts. So I think those 2 points are still, I have not got that answer. So.
The really important point, thank you for those statements. Really important points, responsible data practice. And to that point, there may be some instances where it's not appropriate to use AI in an evaluation or for a particular evaluation process. And so being able to develop those muscles of asking those questions when it is appropriate or more suited. Yes, Ado. Here you go.
My hope is that we will use artificial intelligence while remaining critical, and not just trapped in a new paradigm as we evaluators normally do.
Thank you so much for that. We're at the time of wrapping up. We're probably past, but I want to invite Marco Sagone. If you have some closing remarks or some thoughts you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear them.
No, mainly, I mean, perhaps just to highlight some of the key things that I hear. And first of all, it's really about not losing the critical thinking that's so paramount. Even when we did the first draft of the strategy for the ethical use of AI, we did it with AI. I read the first draft, I say, that's good, etc. And only later I realized that I was not thinking about what I was reading. So it's really about the critical thinking. And then, the hybrid intelligence, I think it's a quite interesting one, Archie. And the shape or to be shaped. To me, that's the key message. If we just don't engage, we will be shaped by AI. AI is here. We like it or not, it's here. So it's really our responsibility to make sure that AI will be at the service of what we want, a more just world. So we have a huge responsibility.
And before we go to Khalil, could we do a virtual theater? Have the moderator come and get some, yeah. So we only have time for one closing statement or comment from the virtual theater, and we'll turn it over to the moderator. Yes, go ahead. You might be on mute. Do you want to check and see if you're muted?
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So it was a very enriching experience for me, especially like from the virtual theater. This is like, like peak of innovation for me as far as I've lived. But this was like an extremely enriching and incredibly innovative and interactive experience. And I think that we can see like the future of innovation and AI and evaluation from right here. And I'm very excited for what the future holds for us.
Neha, Archie, and Zach, our AI and evaluation experts, for all the sharing and the terms that you also shared with us, hybrid intelligence, the 4 Cs, youth as digital natives. I think this is also will have important impact in the evaluation field and how we also use the language. So thank you so much. And that brings us to the closer of our first day of the summit for a future of evaluation. We hope you had a stimulating and engaging experience. All our colleagues also online. And we have also some intervention were from the virtual theater that was really nice. But now for the next, was the last session, but we also have a side event that will focus on the global evaluation agenda. 10 years ago, there was a global evaluation agenda that actually started Evaluate, EvalGender Plus, and many of these networks. And we have the pre-launch of the agenda we can have it at 45, so we have bio break. But the idea is to share with you where we are on the global agenda. We have our colleague Ziad will moderate the session, but we will hear from young and emerging evaluators as well. Gabriela participated in it, maybe from Erica as well. But we have also evaluation leaders and pioneers that I mentioned in the first opening speech that will be with us as well, with Marco and Michael Equin-Button, with Ada, with us, to share their wisdom with us about the global evaluation agenda for future, because really, it is really important. So this session, I can't say it's exciting, because I think Ziad also is moderating it, so it will be very interesting. And otherwise, we look forward to welcoming you back tomorrow as well for the colleagues who cannot attend the side event. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp for another three dynamic sessions of the summit, culminating in joining concluding session with a broader evaluation conclave. Until then, we wish you a restful evening, and thank you for all colleagues online and in person. Thank you.